Are you looking to get approved for an apartment? Make sure you follow these tips and seeing if maybe even getting approved for a mortgage is even better. I'm Jose Rodriguez, also known as the Credit Dude. For the last 15 years, I've been helping people understand and truly harness the power of good credit. So let's dive right in. What I want to talk to you about today is getting approved for an apartment and whether you should be renting or buying. I think a lot of people think that they're out of the ballpark of getting approved for a mortgage simply because of what they see on TV or what they read online. But did you know that sometimes applying for an apartment could be a little bit more stressful and a lot more money than getting approved for a mortgage? Typically, that's because how was your previous rental history? Have you got evicted? Do you have late payments with your previous landlord? Have you been sued by a landlord? Maybe you left an apartment and you didn't leave it the way you should have. So you got hit with late fees, or you got hit with things that maybe you felt like you shouldn't have paid for, but that is what happens when you rent an apartment. Even though a lot of that stuff is not traditionally reported to like Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, there are secondary bureaus that do report this information. So you might think you're clear and you might think, oh my God, I have a 750 credit score, but why can't I get approved for an apartment? That's why, because sometimes previous evictions, broken leases, unpaid rent, that stuff doesn't always get reported to your main 3 credit reports, but it is housed somewhere. It is on your secondary bureaus, and that's where you truly got to be careful. And sometimes it's also reported with the court system if you were sued and also have a judgment. So what do you do in that situation? Okay, at that point in time, you might have to dispute that information or just contact your previous landlord, previous renter, or previous owner and say, hey, listen, I'm sorry this happened. Can I pay? This is on my credit report. I'm trying to apply for another apartment and it's holding me back. The biggest thing and the most important thing you can do when it comes to stuff like this is proper communication and proper documentation, because you can say, listen, I'm not sure where you're getting this from. This wasn't me. I didn't have this. I did an inspection report when I left and I didn't leave the apartment like that. Here are pictures. So you want to make sure you do all that because you don't want to get stuck paying somebody else's bill. And listen, at the end of the day, there's also clerical errors and you don't want to be pretty much held for somebody else's negligence. When you are getting approved for an apartment, they're typically going to ask for your IDs. They're going to ask for pay stubs. They're going to ask for references. They are going to run your credit depending on what software they use. They might check all 3, they might just check 1, but they are going to run your credit. So you want to make sure you don't have anything negative on your credit report, because if you do, it might mean you have to have a higher security deposit, or they might just say no. You want to make sure you are employed, or if you aren't employed, your co-signer is. They might ask for an employment verification letter, and if they do ask for bank statements, they want to make sure that it's a legit bank. I don't think sometimes Chime or Venmo is going to cut it. You want to make sure that you have money in the bank, that you have good bank accounts, meaning you don't have anything negative going out there, because if they see your bank accounts and you're negative every single month or every week and you have overdrafts, I'm like, what's going on here? Like, I don't know even if you have good credit, that might be a red flag for them, okay? And one of the other things you can do too is getting a reference from your previous landlord. That's why you always want to make sure you do everything right. Maybe you can get a reference letter from them. You can get a reference letter from their company and let them know that you are a good renter, that you are a good tenant, because at the end of the day, even if you're renting a house, you want to make sure that the person that you're renting from feels safe and secure, proving you to rent. Now, when it comes to the security deposit and the first month's payment, depending on your credit and your history, I've seen security deposits as high as $6,500 because it's a month and a half plus a security deposit plus first month's. So next thing you know, you're $10,000, $12,000 in, that could have been used as a down payment for a house. So that's what I'm saying. You really don't know what you can get unless you seek a mortgage lender and you say, listen, I'm renting right now. I'm paying this amount of money. I have this much saved. I'm looking to do X, Y, Z in the next 6 to 12 months. Because instead of you breaking that lease, or instead of you even ending that lease, when you speak to a mortgage lender and say, hey, listen, if you do this in the next 6 months, you fix your credit, you get your income up, you do what you got to do, I can get you into a mortgage at this month and you're spending less than what you're paying right now. That might be an option. That might be better for you. So therefore, you never know what you can get, okay, unless you speak to a mortgage lender. That's one of the most important things is getting with the mortgage lender that's going to run your credit, that's going to look at your income, that's going to look at some of your assets and indicate what you can and can't get approved for. Because what you don't want to do is now put yourself in a position to where, like, man, I'm spending this money and I could have bought a house that's ultimately going to build equity down the road, because a lot of people say, oh my God, the interest rate right now is too high. Well, guess what? You renting, you're paying 100% interest to your landlord. So what's better, the interest rate right now or the interest you're paying on the rental property or the interest you're paying to the apartment? So make sure you think about it. And one of the other things that I do want you to make sure, like I said, is checking your credit. How is your credit report? Do you have crazy things on there? Do you have charge-offs? Do you have collections? Do you have late payments? If you do, it's not the end of the world. You can hire my company, Got Credit. We can help you out with removing some of those negative items, settling what we can get deleted, and then putting you in a position to where you can build credit, get over that 700 mark, and then maybe instead of renting, maybe you get approved for a mortgage. We've also seen where people get approved for a mortgage and still rent. They end up letting that tenant pay their mortgage for a few years, and then they move into the house. Nothing that you want to do is impossible. It just depends on what you're trying to do. But I can tell you that you renting right now in 2026, is it the best option for you? And if it is, great. But if you want to see what else is out there, you can always contact me directly and I can put you in a position to where you can get approved for a mortgage or even speak to a mortgage lender to see what options are available to you, okay? So now let's talk about the pros and cons of buying versus renting. I think if you're able to see these, you're able to make a better decision on whether buying or renting is better for you. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros of buying a home, okay? Number one, you get to build equity. What's equity? Is as you're paying your payments on time, the value of your home, not only can it go up, but that means you owe less on the mortgage. So let's say you have $100,000 of equity, you can end up pulling that out down the road. You can take that, you can invest, pay some debt down, fix your kitchen, put in a pool. It's all depending on what you want to do with it. But equity is the game, and that's a lot of the reasons why people own a home. Number two, you have stable monthly payments. Depending on if you got a fixed interest rate or an adjustable mortgage rate, your interest rate is not going to change. So that means that you know for the next 30 years, this is what I'm paying. The only thing that's going to go up is your taxes. And that's what the benefit is of owning a home, because then you're making your payment, it's fixed, okay? Equity goes up. You can always pull out, get a home equity line of credit to help you with those payments as well. Other thing you can do with owning a home is you can fix it up how you want. So let's say if you want to put in a pool, you want to fix the kitchen. Let's say if you want to paint the walls. Let's say if you want to put in different landscaping, you want to fix the driveway, you can. You can do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do to the house is yours, depending on where you live also, whether you have a homeowners association or if it's zoning laws, that's where you got to get the city involved. But other than that, minor cosmetic things, you can do your own. The fourth thing is tax benefits. When you own a home, you do get a lot of tax benefits. Make sure you get with your accountant to see what's available to you in your city and your state. But that's the thing, you can write off some of the taxes you pay on your taxes. You get a lot of benefits, and a lot of people see that better than renting. And the fifth thing is turning this into a rental property later. So just because this is your first home doesn't mean it's your forever home. If you're living in this home right now, let's say you do get a line of credit, or let's say you do pull some equity out, you fix the property up a little bit, and you're like, you know what, this was great and everything, we love the way this house looks, but we don't want to live here forever. So instead of me selling this house, I'm going to go ahead and rent it out, get with a local real estate agent and a local property management company. I'm going to rent this house out, let the tenant pay for my mortgage, and then move into another home, okay? And that is where the true power of owning a home is. Next thing you know, in 6, 7, 8 years, you could have 2 or 3 homes depending on how you play your cards. So now let's talk about the pros of renting an apartment. Okay, it's the flexibility. That's ultimately why people rent. It's flexible. You're not locked in for 30 years. Maybe you signed a 12-month lease, an 18-month lease, month to month, 6 months, depending on what it is. You're not locked in. You can come and go as you please, and it's not long term. Number two, the maintenance is handled. I'm the type of guy, at the end of the day, I don't want to change the light bulb. I don't want to paint. I don't want to do anything. If I can't pay somebody to do it, I'm not going to do it. So therefore, maintenance is covered when you are living in an apartment, or depending on where, if you're renting a home, depending on how the arrangements you have, a lot of the times the snow is covered, landscaping is covered, so you're good to go with all that stuff. You don't have to worry about the roof, you don't worry about the walls. That's one of the greatest things about renting an apartment, which what I miss, a lot of that stuff is covered, okay? And three, depending on your situation, it could be lower upfront cost, but if you have bad credit, you could be paying more down payment or a higher security deposit, so just be careful with that. Number four is no property taxes or HOA fees. So when you're renting an apartment, this is usually covered either by the homeowner or by the landlord, so you don't have to worry about any of these extra taxes. Rent's not going to go up depending on if the homeowner does anything to the roof or to the walls. And number five, sometimes renting is cheaper than owning, okay? Because depending on where you're at, different states or whatever the case is, renting an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, is cheaper than having a 2-bedroom home. It really just depends on your budget. It depends on what you're trying to do, depends on your flexibility. I do see that renting, there's pros, and I do see that owning a home, there's pros. So it really just matters on where you're at, where you're living at. It matters on what you're looking to do in the next 3 to 5 years, and then you can make a decision. But if you do need help removing those negative items from your credit, you can either comment below or go to my website, www.godcarter.com. I would love to work with you and put you in a position to where you can get approved for an apartment or a home. But that's my time today. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that way you know when I drop the next video. Other than that, good luck in 2026 with either renting or owning a home.